Hi, welcome back to SouFLotv again, everybody. Listen, let's get right into the story. This is a Dear SouFLotv, okay? And these aren't my words. These are the words of somebody who wrote into SouFlo and asked us to, for some reason, share their story with the public so the public can share their opinions about the story. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Dear SouFLotv, I recently watched a video you did about relationship and marriage between different races. I think it was a discussion about black men with white women or non-black men and how black women react while they themselves salivate over white men and date and marry them. I felt compelled to share my story because I think I can show the profound effect of growing up traumatized and how it affects us long term, and how it is difficult for us to heal, and how it is difficult for us to help each other heal. I have been married 3 times and divorced twice. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever envision being married to a woman that was not black like myself. I love black women. My family has many beautiful black women, to include my mother and my 3 sisters, and dating outside my race was just never something I entertained. I love all races, and I am in no way, shape, or form a racist, but I just have a special love for my own kind. With that being said, I must tell you about life with every black woman I ever dated, and the 2 that I did marry, and I must compare them to life with my Filipino wife, to whom I am married to now. My first 2 marriages were short-lived, and both to black women. The first one was a few years younger than me, and it was hell. I think we were too young, 23 and 29. We had not figured out ourselves as yet. The second one, she was older than I was, 34 and 40. I went for an older woman after what I had been through in the first marriage. I thought that would make things better, and it did not. But nonetheless, I went for a black woman. Both my divorces came while serving time in the military. On my last tour of duty before I exited the military, I had the pleasure of spending 4 years in the Philippines, and this is where I found my forever love. I have been married to this non-black woman now for 9 years and counting, and it has been 9 years of total happiness. I will sum it up like this. Every black woman I was ever with was combative and disrespectful to a degree that made it very difficult to have a happy life. In a relationship with a black woman is where I was called bitch nigga and bitch ass nigger, and told to fuck off, and punished with silent treatment, and everything I had ever said was stored up and used as ammunition against me at some later time. I was not perfect, but most of my issues came from trying to survive these persons I was married to. My first wife, which was black as mentioned, she would even go as far as to try to come to blows with me while we were arguing by running up on me with hands raised and throwing things at me and even spitting on me. I never laid hands on her except to try to stop her from scratching my face up. My second, who was also black, would spend recklessly and do things like demand to see my phone and search all my social media and find people there and curse them out. People who were friends for many years before I even met her. And I can assure you there was no inappropriate relationship. She would cut the tires on all of our vehicles and pour sugar and syrup into the tanks if she did not get her way in an argument. All of these things would only take money from the family, but it satisfied her ego. And yes, she did the name calling and cursing as well. None of them were willing to admit their role in anything. So we failed to continue growing together and things fell apart. My Filipino wife is the total opposite. Let me just say this. I am not blaming all black women I've been with for why we did not work out, because it takes two, and I am conscious of my own toxic contributions as well. But I have realized now that when two people are traumatized and unhealed, they can really damage each other in a relationship instead of helping each other to heal. In other words, two broken people cannot heal each other. Wow. That's deep. It is the softness of my Filipino wife that has made this marriage so blissful. In her culture, her father is her everything. And in the family structure, the fathers are everything. She was raised this way. I realized that myself and my two previous wives who were black, like I am, we all shared the same background, as in, we all did not have a father around. We all came from single mother households. So none of us knew how to be a husband, a good one, how to be a wife, a good one. We say we saw mommy in survival mode and we never had daddy. So we developed abandonment issues that caused us to sabotage our relationships. With my Filipino wife, she has never called me out of my name, and even when I raise my voice and say hurtful things because I am still healing, she facilitates my healing by sending me soft words, but stern words. For example, I know you are upset right now, but those things you just said, or that name you just called me, it hurts. I will give you your space to process this anger, but then we need to talk because I don't want us to be calling each other names and think it is okay. She floored me the first time she did it because I was used to being called a fuck nigga. And I would reply back with, fuck you, bitch. And she would reply back with, fuck you too, bitch ass nigga. From both my black wives. And the safe space my Filipino wife creates for me allows me to be able to decompress and work on me at becoming a better person. And in that regard, it has made me a really good husband. My Filipino wife functions according to her culture. She is highly educated and works in the medical field, and I still work with the U.S. military, although I am no longer active duty. She earns more than I do, yet it never stops her from being wifely at home. She does the errands. She is deeply involved in our two daughters' activities. She gets everything done and gets home to make sure the house is clean and a healthy and balanced meal is cooked at every single day. And she treats me like a king. When I tell you my wife caters to me and asks for nothing in return, and the most amazing thing is she never complains. Hell, I would complain. She has all right to complain. Of course, I spoil her, or try to, but she is really not into anything if I am not enjoying it with her. I know it sounds crazy, and I still can't believe that this is my life now, but it is. If I book a spa date for my wife on her day off and rearrange my schedule to take over all her duties just so she can have 2 days of relaxation, she won't do it unless I do it with her. She would rather turn my bedroom into a spa and we have spa dates at home. And that is her idea of enjoyment. It is her choice. She is not into material things. Unlike my black wives, my Filipino wife saves way more than I do, and she is good at investing as well, so our money is growing like crazy. I say all these things to say that sometimes we want to heal, but we just keep choosing damaged people or toxic people just like ourselves. I love my wives, and I wish I could have experienced this level of love and joy with one of them, but this is what life has given me. A woman who was raised with not just her mother and father, but her grandparents and even great-grand. A woman who admires her father and lives to make him proud. A woman who grew up with the balance of having a real protector provider and a mother who showed her by example how to honor such a man and how to raise a solid family for herself. It's not our fault that some things happened in our lives. It is, however, our responsibility to find healing and happiness so we can live a happy and productive life. I found my healing through and in this woman, and she is not black, but I am blessed. SouFLotv, TV, I hope you read my letter out loud, and I hope it inspires our black women who hear it to heal themselves so that they can raise a good family. And I hope it also awakens the brothers that hear it so they know that they too have to be healed from all those childhood trauma or traumas, period, in order to have a beautiful and long-lasting relationship. If we are conscious of this, then we will be able to help each other to heal. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Be blessed, my brother. Also, my infantry brother, my brother in arms and in race. Name blank blank. All right. As I read this letter, now this is SouFLotv TV talking. Let me come out and read in character. Let me go back into me, character, myself. So as I'm reading this, I don't really have much to say. I will leave it for the people in the comment section to sum it all up. Clearly, what this is, as expressed in the letter, this was a black man who found love and happiness with a woman who is not black. But he explained that that was never his choice. His first choice was always a black woman. However, every black woman he ever been with was problems. But he realized that it was because they shared similar backgrounds. He's black, she's black. And I've said this before to my audience, that there's no struggle that the black woman is going through that the black man does not have to bear as well. That has been from the beginning until now. So if she's burdened down, hurting because the workplace, there's a high level of racism there, and they're hating on her because of her hair texture because she chooses to wear it naturally, and her skin color, the black man has to go through the same thing. If she's not getting promoted because they don't want to promote somebody of her race, the black man has to go through the same thing. Whatever the case may be, when the counters said coloreds that way, whites only, the black man had to go that way just like she did. So the struggle has always been the same. And because the struggle has always been the same, the damages have always been to those same people, the black man and the black woman, not one or the other, but both. So now, then we look at more modern issues like the family structure fall apart, no daddy in the house, mommy struggling, some moms working 2 jobs, some moms not caring at all. These kind of things, abusive parents or abuse within our community, right? The black man went through the same thing. So he's scarred up, she's scarred up, and you have two scarred up, bruised up, traumatized people who act out in toxic ways, trying to find love with each other. And they do. They find love, but then toxicity ruins that love. So they fail to grow together and move on or live long term, as in forever love. Right? Right. So if you look at today's culture and you look at like passport bros, or you look at what a man is looking for today versus what a woman is looking for today, here we go again. Two affected people with two completely different mindsets about what family should be like, who takes what role, so on and so forth. And then there's a problem. Right. Whereas he's saying in this letter that marrying someone from a different culture created that safe space through that person for him, because all the toxic things that is triggering from women of his race on this side of the globe, they don't come with the woman he married from the Philippines, right? She's non-materialistic. That means she doesn't want a Birkin bag. Matter of fact, she doesn't want any kind of designer, anything. She would prefer to save her money. He said that she's a great saver, and she also knows how to invest. So their money, it keeps growing at a crazy pace. Well, she's building wealth, and she understands how to build wealth. She understands, and she's just not turned on by things that would turn on the normal Western woman of today. Right? You got to pay my bills. You got to fly me out on trips. You got to take me to nice places. We got to go on vacation at least twice a year. You have to have over $100,000 a year as your earning income in order to even be in a relationship with me. You have to spend all this money on me. You have to this and you have to that. And it doesn't come. That does not come. Those requirements do not come with a woman from outside of his race and outside of his culture. So it saves him that group of headaches, right? And then on top of that, he is also saying the most important thing I found was that in her culture, her father or the father of a family is celebrated, is highly respected, is put in his rightful place as the matriarch or the patriarch of the family, the leader. He sits on that throne, and his children, they follow his wishes. Her father probably said he wanted her to be a doctor, or he wanted her to be a nurse, or he wanted her to be this, that, and the other. And she facilitated that. She went on her father's wishes. I'm going to make my father proud. Her whole life, she was raised by her father. She knows what it's like to have one in the house. She knows what it's like also to have a mother and to see her mother work in harmony with her father. So she's been taught this her whole life. And he compared and contrast to his own life and the black women that he was with before he got with this Filipino woman. And the common ground, he said, he realized they all came from broken homes, but the Filipino woman did not. So of course, coming from a broken home, you see things differently, right? And you're probably in a bit of a survival mode kind of thing. Whereas on the other side, it's different. So therefore, she acts differently. I don't know. I take all these lessons from this, and I'm pretty sure that is what he was trying to teach. And at the end of it, he tries to say, or he tries to make it clear that this was not a stab at black women. This was actually just showing that we are affected. Both black women and black men are affected. So it is going to be difficult unless you can find, unless you yourself are healed or in the healing process and you find someone else that is healed or is in the healing process and is conscious of it. But a lot of our people, both men and women, are not healed. We are traumatized, and we're living through that trauma, seeing life through those traumatized lens. You know the comments, all men are dogs, all men stay the same, I don't want no man, if I get one, he must be able to pay all my bills, this, that, and the other, or I'd rather be by myself. And then on the man side, all women are hoes, all of them cheat, they just do it better than we do. I don't want, if you go into a relationship that you think is going to last with this kind of mindset, it's bound to fail from the beginning, because you've already told yourself that you're with somebody that I shouldn't trust. I'm just going to be here for the fun times, see where it goes as long as it lasts, and then when it starts to get rough, jump ship, because you already knew that this was coming, and go about your business. That's different from a mindset that says, I'm in this forever. That's it. This is my person. I know my role, I'll play my position, and I'll allow them to play their position. As a matter of fact, we are team players to each other. We are assistants to each other. He'll assist me, I'll assist him, and we'll make this thing work. That's a totally different mindset, right? Right. So the message in this one, I think, is that we are broken. We need healing. A lot of us don't even recognize that we need healing. We ignore our traumas instead of working through them, and it's trauma piled on top of trauma on top of trauma. So at the end of the day, we have nothing to give besides more trauma. Forget the beginning stages of every relationship that's sweet, the infatuation. When it comes time for the infatuation has worn off and it's time to actually dig down, solve some problems so we can move forward, we fail. And we fail because you have two people that are easily triggered, two people that are underneath it all, still traumatized, haven't healed kind of people. Don't recognize that they need healing and put forth toxic behaviors which damages the union. I hope somebody understands this and nobody takes it the wrong way. Okay? With that said, leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLotv. I'm out. Peace.